All right, this might be the most important video out of the entire series because this shows you how to use the roadblocks. There are two very important steps that come before putting up a roadblock. So I wanted to create this video so you know when to put up a roadblock, how to put up a roadblock, and what to do after you put up a roadblock. All right, so the first step is to begin catching yourself when you're going that way. It's to begin noticing and catch yourself before you enter that state. And also to catch yourself when you are in it. So it's to begin noticing when you might be in that state and to notice when you're going that way so you can begin to catch yourself. That's the very first step. So now the first step, right? Say I find myself, I catch myself and I'm in it. The second step is to notice where in my body are those sensations that are letting me know that I'm in it, right? So I might notice them in my chest, and it might be like this tightness, and it might be like in an 8. So on a scale of 1 to 8, I would rate this tightness in my chest at an 8. That's how intense the feeling is. So these are the first two steps. It's the first notice when you're either going into that state or are in it, and then to notice where in your body is letting you know that, and on a scale of 1 to 10, where is it at? Now the third step is to put up the roadblock. This is where you'd put up a roadblock like peripheral expansion, where you'd focus your gaze on that point, softening your eyes, and beginning to expand into peripheral expansion. So that way you can feel those shifts inside as you notice more and more of your surroundings. And now you check inside again, and now I notice it's like at 4. So you just put up another roadblock, and you keep doing this until you reduce it to a 0. So I might do another round of peripheral expansion. I might notice this is a 4, then focus on that point, soften the eyes, expand into peripheral expansion, and then check in, and I notice it's at a 2. So you keep going. And here you might want to switch it up and change techniques or even compound them. So what you can do is say now it's at this 2, and say this 2 is kind of persistent, right? I'm like, I do another round or 2 of peripheral expansion, but it's still at this 2. What you can do is then add a bunch of techniques together. So you do multiple roadblocks. Does that make sense? So I might focus my attention ahead, spread into peripheral expansion, focus on my heart and breathe, while doing a round of tapping. And I release and let this go. Focusing on my heart as I release and let this go, as I also reach into my peripheral, and I can see all those things as I focus on my heart and release and let this go. And at this point, there's so much happening that that's gone. This is gone. And that's how you know it's worked, because it drops down to a 0. And then what happens is you don't need any more roadblocks because you're free. So that's how these techniques work. The first step is to notice when you're either going into or are in that state. That's step 1. The second step is to notice where in your body is letting you know, and on a scale of 1 to 10, where is it at? The third step is to put up a roadblock. The fourth step is to check in again and notice where is it at now. So it often drops down to a 4, maybe a 3 or a 2. And then what you do is you repeat steps 3 and 4 until it's over. You keep putting up a roadblock and check in until it's down to a 0. So I'm excited for you. I hope this makes a lot of sense. And I'm excited for you to see all the different techniques. There's 13 of them. So enjoy.